speaker, Hatem Abudayyeh from USPCN, United States Palestinian Community Network.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And for everybody who's celebrating and fasting during Ramadan, thank you for being out here in the summertime with these long days. And part of the celebration and the fasting of Ramadan is also to be out in support of the social justice struggles of the day. Obviously, we have a lot of social justice struggles in this very city. Schools being shut down, racist police killing black people, the city covering it up. Those are the most important social justice issues of the day in Chicago and in the United States. And the most important social justice issue of the day internationally is the issue of the liberation of Palestine. So thank you to all the sisters and brothers who organized this today. And go on the internet and on social media and see all of the celebrations of Quds Day all across the world as well. It is a major, major event across the world. It is something that us as Palestinians appreciate greatly, that these sisters and brothers here and across the world are organizing this day in support of the Palestinian people and our rights. And of course, we believe in a free Jerusalem, a free Al-Quds. We believe that it's the capital, the indivisible capital of the Palestinian nation. But we don't only think about Al-Quds as that indivisible capital of our nation, because we think about Haifa and Jaffa and all the cities inside of what is today called Israel, because that is Palestine too. An indivisible nation of Palestine from the river to the sea that will be free.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free! Another important issue that I'm sure most of you already know about, but I just want to update you on. Very important. My colleague over there, Joe, who spoke a second ago, is passing out flyers. If you haven't gotten it yet, please grab it. The story of Hatem Abudayyeh, who is my colleague, who works with me in Chicago, organizing the Arab Women's Committee. She was tortured and raped by the Israelis in 1969 and convicted by the Israelis in 1970 of a crime that she did not commit. She was tortured and confessed to a crime by the Israelis, and we know that the Israelis have always used torture against Palestinian prisoners and against innocent Palestinians fighting for their liberation. She is the first woman to ever come out publicly and say that I was sexually assaulted by the Israeli authorities and I was forced to confess to a crime. She spent 10 years in prison. 35 years later, the United States government, the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Detroit arrested her and charged her with lying on her immigration application because they claimed that she did not acknowledge that arrest and conviction, quote unquote, by the Israelis. She was convicted in a court in Detroit. A number of us here and people from across the country were out at that trial for a week in support of her. We went to all of her hearings in support of her because that issue is not an issue of immigration. Clearly, a 45-year-old sentence that they claim that she lied about. She had been a permanent resident for 20 years, a citizen already for 10. They went after her because she is Palestinian. Make no mistake. They went after her because she is an icon and a hero in our community. For 50 years she's been organizing Palestinians, especially women, to struggle for their liberation in Palestine and in Lebanon and in Jordan and in the United States. That issue is as important as the Quds, as the right of return, as the end of colonization and occupation. And I'll tell you why. Because 7,000 Palestinians are in prison by the Israelis, political prisoners who get arrested for what we're doing today, holding up placards and holding up the flag and passing out literature. 7,000. And when they attempt to criminalize those people, what they're saying is an attempt to criminalize our national liberation movement. We reject that. We reject the criminalization of our prisoners. We believe in the freedom for all Palestinian and Arab prisoners in Israeli jails. And we reject that because what we say is you cannot criminalize our prisoners. You cannot criminalize our national liberation movement. There is nothing criminal about our resistance and our liberation. Please read the story of Rasmiya. We won a big aspect in the case because we won the appeal, and now we might be going back to a new trial. And if we go to a new trial, we're going to be able to put the torture on trial. We're going to be able to put Israel on trial. We're going to be able to put the Israeli military and the Israeli government and the racism and those settlers and all of the colonialist settler state of Israel on trial here in the United States in a federal courthouse in Detroit. And when that happens, not only will Rasmiya win and be exonerated and be free, all of us will win, because that will be a huge win for Palestinians and the Palestine National Liberation Movement. Thank you very much.